Welcome to Influential Entrepreneurs, bringing you interviews with elite business leaders and experts, sharing tips and strategies for elevating your business to the next level. Here's your host, Mike Saunders.
Well, hello and welcome to this episode of Influential Entrepreneurs. This is Mike Saunders with Marketing Huddle, and today we have with us James Nowlin, who is CEO and founder of Excel Global Partners and also the author of The Purposeful Millionaire. Welcome to the program, James.
Thanks so much for having me, Mike.
You're welcome. So let's start with, what is a purposeful millionaire?
So a purposeful millionaire is a person who lives with purpose. And for me, Mike, I was not always a purposeful person to the fullest extent that I could possibly be. I had an accident back on August 25th, 2012 that really opened my eyes. It was a near-death accident, and a buddy of mine had gone kayaking out on a lake in East Texas by my lake house, and a freak storm caught us off guard. And, our kayak's filled with water. I tried to save my kayak, and I got into the water and got really tired and actually ended up inhaling some water into my lungs. And I was in really bad shape. My buddy looked at me and he said, "You know what? You're in trouble. I've got to swim to shore." And lo and behold, as he swam to shore, I drowned. So search and rescue crews subsequently found my body. And, fortunately they did find me. And I came back a different person. I came back living a much more purposeful life, not focusing so much on the material things, but focusing on giving, focusing on my mission in life, and sharing with others that they could too also live a purposeful life without having a near-death accident. So that's the basis of my coaching, a lot of the work that I do when I'm public speaking, and the message of my book is that you too can have a powerful, purposeful life when you're activated, ready to get out of that bed at 5 a.m. in the morning and living the life of your dreams.
So that makes me think of a question, which is, did you find that you had a 90-degree, 180-degree turn in your personal / business life after that? Or was it you were doing coaching, you were doing consulting, and now you're just more vibrant and more purposeful about it? Because I think it could go either way. Some people could go, hey, this life I'm living right now, I'm finally going to make the break and start my own business or change. But were you already doing what you're doing, but now after that experience, you just did it way better?
I did it way better, and I found that when I became more purposeful and happy in life, I was attracting more people who I had more in common with. I liked doing business with more. My revenue increased. My net worth increased. All these blessings were coming into my life because of the positive work on self-mastery that I was doing on myself. Now, I'll tell you, Mike, before the accident, on a daily basis, on a scale of, I'd say, 1 to 10, I was probably living somewhere between a 5 and an 8, in spite of having the cars, the travel, the flashy friends, the houses, and all those things. But when I came back, I really had the opportunity to examine my life under a microscope to figure out, who do I want to spend my time with? What type of people do I consider partners in business, partners in relationship, who can really enrich me and I can enrich them? And I had to make some hard decisions, Mike, and I moved away from that classic model of interpreting success based upon the things that you have or the net worth of the friends that are around you, and I shifted to a model in which I was really focused on quality. That made me a happier person. I brought rituals into my daily practices to train my mindset in terms of positive thinking, abundance consciousness, everything that I could possibly be. And once I got to that space, it was like a snowball effect. And on a 1 to 10 scale on a daily basis, I moved from a 5 to 8 to an 8 to 10, with the occasional day where there's an 11 or a 12, where I'm just ecstatic about the blessings and the place and the relationships that I have in my life.
That's really neat to hear, because it reminded me of growing up. There was, and you probably know people like this too. You go up and you're talking to someone after church or a meeting or whatever, and you're shaking their hand in kind of small talk, and they're kind of looking over your shoulder and looking, he's still talking to you and just kind of scanning around, and it's like they're just watching for the next best person to talk to, and they're not really paying much attention, and and it's like, I'm right here, let's just talk. And to you were describing going deeper and having more vibrant relationships, and in reality, isn't it better to have 10 really good relationships like that rather than 110 okay relationships like what I just described?
That's exactly right. And my focus now is on quality, not on quantity. And having gone through the experience of transitioning to a different place, and it was like I was in a helicopter with the spotlight shining down on my body when I was drowning, and I could see my rescuers drowning. And I experienced nirvana and the peace and love of transitioning to a different place, Mike. I knew that when I came back that there was more to life than just stuff or superficial relationships. Now, there are billions and billions of people on earth, and if I don't have a good connection with somebody, I'm not going to force that connection simply because that person has a certain net worth or lives in a certain house or is part of a certain social circle. I'm going to be connected with that person because it's based upon mutual respect with one another, and the power of 1 + 1 doesn't just equal 2 in that friendship, but it potentially equals 3. And I've got people in my life like that right now, and it feels really, really good.
So reading through your bio, I can see you have got in your consulting and your work with your business, you work with high-end executives and corporations. And it makes me wonder, how did your coaching and your interactions with how you coach them to succeed change from this? Because, yes, you might have a better relationship with this CEO in your relationship in how you work with them, but are you now finding that you're kind of helping them to realize this same thing on for their own without tipping over their own kayak?
Absolutely. So for me, my previous executive coaching and the consulting that we provided to clients was a lot of skills-based consulting. We've got a financial systems practice within our firm. We connect with a lot of chief financial officers and chief information officers of mid-market and large market companies. By mid-market, I define as $100 million plus. By large market, I define as $1 billion plus. I found that for me, I was moving away from the financial systems practice, the corporate financial consulting, and more towards the life skills, the personal coaching, in combination with one's professional pursuits and dreams. Really, I was able to connect with people on a deeper relationship level where it just wasn't the coaching to get them promoted or to the next level or to the next revenue point in their business. It was coaching based upon making the person more happy feeling, making them more powerful feeling, making them more purposeful in their daily pursuits, and then on the back end, those blessings would come, not forcing things on the front end, saying, hey, you need to change your numbers, you need to change your system, you need to implement a different type of software or do a different type of reporting implementation. We worked on the person himself or herself after the accident, and then the outcome of it was a better business and a better leader.
You know, I'll bet that you found like advice you would give to a client, like before and after your shift, your accident, right? So if, let's say that some consultant out there, they could come in and just say, I'm the one, I'm the man, and I'm going to change, and here's what you need to do, X, Y, Z, PDQ, as opposed to now the way that you are treating and interacting with your clients with purpose, with relevance, with care, love, and giving value, right? Aren't I correct in thinking that your advice is probably way more well-received and implemented than before?
Absolutely. You know, when I first started consulting, an older, more senior consultant sat me down and he said, you know, I really want to provide you with some advice. He said, in the consulting world, it's not always about being right. And when you have a difficult decision to make, you need to just boil it down to this. James, would you rather be right or would you rather be successful? And being successful, he said, can mean being rich. It can mean having a successful client engagement. It can mean growing your practice or whatever. But if you're constantly focused on being right, Mike, even though you have the right solutions to the problem, then that minimizes the other person sitting across the table. Often they know the answer, but they just need to be led to the answer or ask the right series of questions to get to the right solution for their business. And if you help them to dig deeply within themselves, to settle some of the little subconscious voices that they have in their head, then you can get that person to a higher level of consciousness. And as that higher level of consciousness comes in, better decisions come in, and then the business begins to benefit, and you find a much more happy executive. Now, for my deepest client relationships, I'll have some of my executives that I coach actually come stay with me within my home. We'll get a private chef for the weekend. We've got some meditation areas on the grounds of the property. And we'll really tap into what's going on with that person's spirit so that they can get to a higher level of themselves and a better understanding of themselves. Because generally, we find that with type A people, they're so go, 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 they forget to take the time to breathe and to invest in themselves. Now, when you get to the top, it often gets lonely, and sometimes it can get quite miserable being in that space because you wanted it so badly and you worked so hard to get there. And then you lack mentoring and coaching once you get there and realize that you've got to make some difficult decisions on a daily basis, and you're working longer hours, but you're making a heck of a lot more money, and you're constantly playing these mind games of justifying that compensation versus less time with family, less time at the gym, less time on meditating and working on your subconscious self-mastery. And then the person himself or herself starts to diminish. So we help people to get back to where they should be. And once we find that they're breathing, getting to know Mike again, getting to know James again, getting to know that special person that each one of us is, and the core value and the root system that got them to that level, we find that the outcome is just so beautiful, but it does take time, and it does take the willingness to take the first step in understanding what got me here is not what's going to get me to the next level. You can grind it out, work hard, and sometimes kick a few people around to get to where you are, but that's not what's going to work to get you to the next level. And getting to the next level isn't necessarily CEO or becoming a 100 millionaire for everybody. Getting to the next level, Mike, might simply mean having a higher sense of purposefulness in their life and having a higher drive mechanism within them and sense of fulfillment with the dream that they've been blessed with.
So, James, all of that makes me think, my head's nodding on every one of those points, on everything you've said. But I can't help but to think that someone has told you something to this effect. That sounds great. Where's the switch that I can flip? Where's the pill that I can take? Where's the check? I ain't got no time for all of that stuff, right? So in other words,
I ain't got time for that.
Right. This takes time to do. It's not like meditate for 2 minutes and you're done. This is something that's a process, and it's something that actually takes time out of your day. Like you said, get up at 5 a.m. energized. 5 a.m., what are you talking about? 6 a.m. is hard enough. What do you say to the person, the executive that says, I want all that, but I want the shortcut, and you're trying to communicate to them, there are no shortcuts. You have to take the time and invest.
There are no shortcuts. It takes discipline. I tell people all the time, I'm a 20-year overnight success story, and the past 2 years have been the most impacted. After my accident, I'll be very honest with you, Mike, I was searching for a pill. I was searching for a shortcut. I was taking antidepressants. I was taking Wellbutrin, and then I took Prozac, trying to find that pill that would give me the extra edge to find some happiness in my life. The pills didn't work. After 3 years of searching for myself, after my accident, saying, you know what, why am I here? What purpose do I have on this earth? After having gone to a better place and having experienced nirvana, it's really tough being in this place, balancing financial issues, personal issues, all the other things to make life really, really complex. My practice and my rituals come from a deeper place. It came from the place of, not only having that near-death experience, but struggling, going through the strife, the challenges, the personal work that did not work to get to where I am today. And I do my best to give people the toolkit that they need, whether it's in my book, The Purposeful Millionaire, or whether it's through executive coaching, to get to that place in as accelerated a fashion as possible. Now, it does take time. It does take discipline, and I put together programs where people can work on specific things on a daily basis in terms of habits and rituals to get there more quickly, but it does take time. There's no such thing as a one-week success story or a pill that we can take. If that thing did exist, I would have signed up for it a long time ago.
So for people listening that realize there's no pill, there's no shortcut, but you may have found the shortcut in the sense that you can find some really structured ways to achieve that over, shorter time than what it would be, running around confused. How can they reach out to you? How can they buy your book, learn more about connecting with you to potentially see how you may be able to help them? What's the best way they can connect?
The best way they can connect is to, number one, buy the book. I don't make a ton of money off of the book, and in fact, I probably lose money on the book. But they can find that at jamesonamazon.com. It's The Purposeful Millionaire, 52 Rules for Creating a Life of Wealth and Happiness Now. just take the book, read it, do some of the exercises, and apply one or two nuggets to your life beginning today. The worst thing that anybody can do is to say, hey, I'm going to get around to it. And getting around to it really turns into a year, 5 years, or 20 years, and people never really get around to it. So the main thing is to take that first step, buy the book, start applying some of the rules to their life ASAP. If they want executive coaching, they can find me at www.excelglobalpartners.com, or they can also learn more about me at purposefulmillionaire.me. That's purposefulmillionaire.me as in me, myself, and I. So, Mike, it's not been an easy road, but it's been a powerful, purposeful road for me. And I just wish that more people would join me on it and realize that the biggest competition that they face is not their position, not their family, not where they come from, but the person in the mirror. If they are ready and willing to do the work and to take that first step, they can transform their lives into something so much greater than they ever imagined. Now, I'm headed to Houston on Saturday to attend a going-away party for a senior executive who I worked with who applied these rules to her life, and she has been promoted to the CEO of a multi-billion-dollar organization, and she and I worked together for 1 year. I am so proud of her and her accomplishments, and she is such a happier executive, and she's on a path that she never imagined. She was at the very top, but she did not have the confidence to know that, yes, she too could become a CEO. All of this stuff came together very, very quickly for her because she was willing to take the first step and is so excited about where the future of her life lies ahead, as well as the happiness that she's found on the personal side of her life with her family too. And it's all about putting some rules into place, but taking that first step and not quitting.
I love it. Well, James, it was a pleasure to meet you here virtually and learn more about your journey. And I just really thank you for all you do for people that you interact with. So thank you for your time today.
Mike, I thank you for having me on your show.
You've been listening to Influential Entrepreneurs with Mike Saunders. To learn more about the resources mentioned on today's show or listen to past episodes, visit www.influentialentrepreneursradio.com.